I'm Steve Berry, and this week Bike Shows UK finds me here in North Yorkshire. Equidistant, that's halfway between Malton up there and the delightfully named town of Wetwang, no really, just down there. And I'm parked on my new Ducati Monster 800 beside this magnificent erection to the memory of Sir Tatton Sykes, local landowner. But as well as finding refreshingly empty roads and bonkers Victorian follies, there's one thing you won't find in North Yorkshire. Can you guess what it is? Would you believe it? There are no speed cameras in North Yorkshire. That's right, none. However, the North Yorkshire Constabulary do have their ways of detecting those who ride recklessly. So, if you do want to ride recklessly, and let's face it, who doesn't, the best place to do it is a dirty great big airfield. And there's one just down there at Levington, where I'm going now to meet the boys and girls of the VBSX Stunt team. Let's go stunting! Now, as lovely as they look, we're not here to talk about aeroplanes, oh no, because with miles of tarmac going begging, what better way to spend the day than doing this? Right, well, here are the guys that do it. Here's one of them anyway, it's Ash.
Hi,
how long have you guys been at this?
A few years now, 2 or 3 years we've been doing it. The last couple of years it's been getting quite serious for us. I think we're starting to attract a bit of attention now, purely because of what we do, and what we do is a bit different in the UK really. Trying to bring this US street style to the UK.
Because there's been guys around for a while, Dave Coates, Gary Rothwell, Craig Jones, people like that, but how different is it to kind of move it on and do something a bit different? There are only so many things you can do, aren't there?
There are only so many things. I think the thing that you might notice is that visually things appear different because of the way we are, the way that we use our bikes, the way that we use stock bikes. Those guys are fantastic at what they do, and they've got an image. Myself and Graham have a different image. And I think it makes things look different anyway, even if they're the same or similar tricks. But we do have variations because our riding comes predominantly from a street level.
Yeah.
The kind of tricks that we think we have differ slightly. So you've got a different image, and then you've got a different array of tricks. So we are probably quite a bit different, to be honest.
Did you practice first on like motocrosses and stuff like that, or do you think that's a bit of a false? Do you think you've got to start on the big bikes?
No, not at all. I think if you start on smaller bikes, it's better because you don't rely on the power of the bike.
Right.
If you've got 1,000.
So it's more to do with balance on the smaller
and technique.
bike.
Yeah, technique. The bike's got everything there you need: a back brake, a clutch, an accelerator. It'll do it all for you if you've got the technique right. If you rely on a big bike with power, then it's less technique and more grunt. So if you can start on a smaller bike, I think definitely better. Yeah, myself and Graham are lucky in the way that we come from racing backgrounds. So we've got a lot of bike experience anyway. So it's literally just transferring what we know to these bikes. We've both been involved with extreme sports of all sorts. So we can bring in every aspect that we know and put it on a bike. So it's maybe made it a bit easier for us.
At any stunt competition, there are 3 basic skills that the judges expect every rider to have mastered. And today on Bike Shows UK, we're going to show you how to do them. Of course, the VBs will be doing a bit of their own show too. Remember, please don't attempt these stunts on the open roads or public highways. Always make sure you're in the company of fellow professionals at days like today. So, here's how to do a wheelie.
Every biker wants to be able to do a wheelie. Here's how to do it. Get on your bike, start the engine, stick it in first gear, then ride up and down at about 25-30 miles an hour, and you'll find the point where the engine starts to hunt. That's where the engine is making power. It's beginning to make power and to get into the power band. What you then need to do, instead of fiddling around with a clutch, just use the throttle, do it on the power. Most modern bikes will do it on the power. And here's a tip, instead of just winding open the throttle, you have to crack the throttle, and the trick here is not to hold it like that. you put your hand round here, wrap your hand round the throttle, so that when you open the throttle, you get a full opening of the throttle. Once the bike gets up there, you'll be absolutely transfixed by terror. But you must remember that what goes up must come down. And when it does hit the ground, it hits it, as you'll have seen, with quite a clatter. So for goodness sake, boys, grip the tank with your knees, or else that is metal. And that's the last thing you want. Wheelies, the more you practice, the better you get at it. The stoppie, I've never done one, but this is how it works in principle. I've done it on motocrosses and trials bikes and bicycles, and to be honest, that's probably where you're best practicing, because the stoppie is one of those things. If you do a bad wheelie, the front wheel just comes down and it's a bit embarrassing. If you do a bad stoppie, like that one, then you get to the point where, the point of no return, and you're straight over the bars. But the stoppie again involves doing something which is against your nature, which is to absolutely grab in the first instant the front brake, so that the whole thing tips up. Everyone's done one accidentally. It's one of those things you're probably best practicing on the grass, on a motocross bike, before you dare do it on your own bike. Right, burnouts, let's do one. The easiest of the lot. Start the bike, put it in gear, get a handful of front brake, and pop the clutch. Don't feed it open, just pop it out like that. And then you should be able to get the wheels spinning, change up through the gearbox. Now all you need to do is jump up on the front of the bike. Well, as a Lancastrian born and bred, it takes something for me to say this, but I'm going to say it. Yorkshire is fantastic biking country. Empty roads, beautiful countryside. I've had a great time getting here, and just check out some of this.
Yorkshire, resting place of highwayman Dick Turpin, birthplace of world superbike sensation Jamie Whittam. Yorkshire is also home to exceptional countryside, including 3 national parks: the Yorkshire Dales, the Peak District and the North York Moors, which makes it an absolutely superb place to ride a motorcycle. And if all that riding around makes you thirsty, and it will, how about stopping off at the famous Squires Cafe Bar in Sherburn in Elmet? Take the B122 Sherburn turn off the A1 to find this biker's mecca, and don't go to the other Sherburn in North Yorkshire, it's about 40 miles away.
So Harry, tell us all about the world famous Squires. It's a cafe bar now. It was a milk bar, wasn't it?
It was a milk bar once over, yeah. We've now become Europeans, so we call it cafe bar.
Very continental.
Yeah.
Where was the first one, and how did it get started?
It started in August 1954,
Yeah.
and it's 2 mile that way.
Right.
And it was started by a man called Squire Bradbury. Squire was his Christian name, so he adopted that and just called the place Squires.
And when did you move out here? A couple of years ago it was?
Just over a year we've moved from village here.
Well, it's better here, isn't it?
Well, we've got everything, haven't we?
I believe you've got plans for further expansion. Have you not got enough room here?
No.
Really?
We've bought 2.5 acres over there for cars.
Yeah.
And we're going to extend all this, make it twice as big. We're going to have a shower and toilet block for campers.
Has anybody said to you, oh, you should do this all over, you should have one in London and you should have one here and one there?
People have said we ought to franchise it, but you lose it. This is Squires.
It's tradition, isn't it?
It's tradition.
Yeah.
And it's now gone nearly 50 years. 50 years next year, is it? And it's just brilliant. You've only got to look round you.
What is it about Squires that makes it so popular with bikers?
People come up here for the decent roads, meet others who, have a brew with them, chat bikes, I guess.
A lot better since it's come out of village, because you can get a lot more bikes here and that. And it doesn't annoy all locals, does it, as much, so it's better.
Very friendly. Each time I've come down, there's always been someone here that approaches you, speaks about your bike, speaks about their own bike, and it's a great place for meeting people.
Nice food, nice drinks, good sized car park and good roads to get to it.
The beauty with this location is the backdrop here. We've got nice roads, nice scenery. The prices are good for us Londoners. We save a fortune coming up here.
Head up towards Scarborough on the A64 and you'll come across another little piece of biking history. Well, scootering history to be exact.
I couldn't really visit North Yorkshire without revisiting one of my old haunts. Here it is on the A64 between York and Scarborough, AF Race Speed, where they specialise in Italian two-wheelers, most definitely not of the Ducati variety, because AF Race Speed are specialists in scooters, Italian scooters, Vespas and Lambrettas. And 20 years ago, when we used to make the pilgrimage every bank holiday to Scarborough, if you could get to AF Race Speed, if you could bodge your bike and somehow make it here, then you knew that you'd somehow get to Scarborough. Now, 20 years ago, the place used to be run by a chap called Ray. He's the Ray in Race Speed, and I believe he's still here. Let's go in and see him. Ray's still here.
Hi there, Steve. Mate, really good to see you. Long time.
It is a long time, and I was just thinking, how long have you been here?
Let me see now, 22 years.
Has it changed a lot in that time? There seems to be a bit of a scooter revival. Every few years there seems to be a bit of a scooter revival.
At the moment, it's incredible. It's just like going back to the 60s, especially on the classic front. As many classic Lambrettas and Vespas we can get hold of, we can sell within days of receiving them.
But surely all the sort of the ones that I used to pull out of old people's garages and sheds and give them a tenner for or 20 quid, that's gone, has it?
Yeah, a lot of those have come and gone. And most of the second-hand machines now are coming through from Italy or from India. Yeah. And the state of some of them is atrocious. But the money that they're fetching is unbelievable.
So show us what you're doing. What have you got in the back?
Oh yeah, come follow me. I'll show you. Nothing's changed.
Ah. So the work that goes on behind it. So this is a custom bike, obviously. But it's the kind of the old custom style, isn't it? Really, from the 80s, making a comeback.
We don't really class this as custom, really, because this is like what we call a race replica.
Yeah.
Generally, the custom bikes are referred to as if they've got metal flakes and candy, paintwork. This is it's got the race replica paintwork.
Yeah.
And then the engine is fully tuned. It's got the TS1 special aluminium cylinder with Nicosia bore.
What age would this bike be, or is it all made up of different?
This is an Italian machine. This is, I believe, this one's 1969 machine. This will be worth, by the time it's finished, this will be worth about £4,500.
Really? Blimey. What about this one? This one looks a bit more standard, and perhaps a little bit older than that. Which model's this? Is it the?
This is B registration, so this is 1964.
Blimey, it's as old as me.
Yeah.
It's in better nick.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, thanks. But it's a bit more of a mod bike, isn't it, with the old Union Jack spare wheel cover, and it's missing the bars and mirrors, but just a bit of metal flake paint. But again, the bodywork is in absolutely superb condition.
Yeah, it's been restored.
I'm gonna go now, because if I don't go, I'm gonna want a Lambretta again, and I'm gonna go home. And I'll tell you what, how much will you give me for that Ducati? Go on, bung us a few grand and let me have that one.
Oh, I'm afraid not.
More of me roaring round Yorkshire, and better still, more extreme stunt action coming right up. Welcome back to Bike Shows UK. We're at York, basking in the sunshine and enjoying the cunning stunts of the VBSX stunt team. Now with Mark, who would like to get involved in this sort of thing. Mark, what's the attraction? Is it the girls or is it the scars?
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but there isn't actually any girls around here at the moment, so it's not that. No, it's just I got into it starting to on photography, because I did a photography course, and then I met Graham through a friend. And then we kept on coming down to York, and I've got a bike, so I'm into biking, and just got started photographs, improving my skills and everything. So it's just,
so you're really into the sort of media side of it, because I believe these guys have a website and there's sort of videos and all sorts of things that go with it.
Yeah, the photographs on the website, some of them are mine. My friend Gary, he does all the editing for them. And they're having a video coming out later on this year, and we're doing some filming for them, just getting them some footage.
You're doing this wrong, Trust me, all you have to say is, ladies, would you like to be in a video?
believe that. Right, well, I've been roaring around Yorkshire for the last couple of days, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the empty roads on a gleaming red Ducati, and you won't believe the amazing place that I found yesterday. Hidden in the back of a farm shed in a little village called Stockton-on-the-Forest in North Yorkshire is a well-kept secret. This classic motorcycle collection belongs to Dick Craven. There are over 200 motorcycles here from 1918 right up to the 1980s, plus an enormous amount of motoring memorabilia. Well, Dick, I don't know what to say. I'm absolutely taken aback with this, but I've never seen anything like it. It's so unlike every other sort of motoring museum I've been to. Like there you've got old oil cans and old pistons and dizzy caps and an old radio and stuff like that. It's like a shelf straight out of my granddad's garage in Bury. It's like a living museum. How many bikes have you got?
There's about 250 altogether.
I noticed you say that because I bet you don't know exactly how many bikes you've got.
No, I don't, to be honest. No.
But when you've got about 250, you obviously like BSAs anyway, don't you?
Yes, I did have a preference for BSAs at one time, yes.
You're in big demand, aren't you, from the film and TV and advertising people? Because some of the stuff that you've got, I mean, it's all very well having the super exoticas, the Gold Stars and the Manx Norton, but some of the ordinary stuff, this is just what the telly people want, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
These period dramas.
Yeah, we do very well from the television companies, yes. I mean, they're stuck. I mean, I think we've monopolised it around here because there's nobody else.
There's a lot of it though, isn't there? Last of the Summer Wine, Heartbeat, Born and Bred. There's a whole industry.
There is really.
And without you, they'd be knackered.
Well, a lot of people have got old bikes, but they won't let other people ride them.
Which is your favourite bike out of all of them?
Favourite?
Do you have a favourite?
Favourite, the old Vincent 1000, yeah.
Right.
But I do actually race the old thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, come on, let's have a look at it. Dick, tell us about this bike, because it's wearing a few battle scars.
Well, I use that for racing at present.
So this isn't a museum piece, is it? It was racing this weekend.
It was yesterday.
Better than that, it won. Or you won.
It beat every classic bike there, yes. Yeah.
And you use it for a bit of drag racing as well?
I do drag racing. I used it last year and it won the non-Japanese championship last year with it, yeah.
Just over 12 seconds for a quarter mile?
That's right, yeah.
And
it's only on petrol.
How old is it?
1953.
1953. Remarkable. After saying goodbye to Dick, I thought I heard the distant echoes of a past when these bikes would have thrived, an age of rock and roll and freedom on the track. Graham, this used to be your tyre.
Yeah.
Most people can do a decent burnout, sort of stick it in second, loads of front brake, pop the clutch, off you go. But you were going up and down the gearbox, up and down the gearbox. Did you actually have it in top flat out at one point? I think you did.
Yeah, 6 gear flat out, yeah. I mean,
it's amazing that the tyre actually stays alive for so long, isn't it?
Well, it's all down to the compound tyre that you're using as well. I mean, if you've got a soft tyre on the back, you know, it's not going to last as long. There's a lot of grip there. Normally the best ones for doing donuts, burnouts, are a harder compound tyre, which lasts a little while longer. And that's basically why it took so long.
It looks good when you're all sort of doing it together. It reminds me, I mean, the guys have been at it for a few years. People like Gary Rothwell, Dave Gortz, Sonny Ferguson, everyone's seen him. Kevin Carmichael, of course, the God.
Yeah.
But it's a different vibe, isn't it? It's a different feel. It reminds me, I remember seeing that DMX Rough Riders on MTV and just being blown away by what the Americans were doing.
Yeah.
Was it kind of a similar thing with you?
Yeah, well, we all basically started off, I mean, we came across a Starboys tape around about 2 years ago, and we sort of being inspired by them, the fact that we rode street bikes and enjoyed that kind of thing. Got up to a bit of mischief on industrial estates and roads and things like that, until we were sort of found by sponsorship, by local newspapers, and basically got a show out of it. That's when we decided to go a bit more legitimate and do things off the road and concentrate on more stunt riding.
The VBSX Stunt Day is an opportunity for young riders to come and try their hand at some of the basics. These guys have become big fans of the vertical Brits and are here to give support and a few pointers on how to do that perfect stopping.
who's been doing this the longest out of you guys?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 2 years. I've been doing the stunt riding for 2 years. But
How did you get involved in it to start with?
Graham got us into it. Just started going out and we're doing bits of wheelies just off on industrial estates.
So what had you been doing? Had you been doing motocross or riding on the road or what? Racing?
Motocross when I was younger. I've been into bikes since I was 14 years old, so just messing about since I was a kid.
What about yourself?
Exactly the same. Graham again, just got us into it, asked us if I wanted to come out on the bike with him, and says aye, and I just got hooked.
Right, well that's just about it from this edition of Bike Shows UK, which is just as well because I'm absolutely knackered. Ash, you're going to see more of these voices. It's testing stuff. What about some tips for people that want to get started doing this? Come to somewhere like this, presumably.
Yeah, definitely. This is ideal because it gets people in like a bit of a safer environment. We all know where most people usually start and try and practice and things, but if you can get yourself somewhere like this, there's a lot of guys around doing similar things that you want to learn, so you get inspired by what the guys here are doing.
What's the next great trick that you guys are going to come up with?
I think the next great trick that we're working on at the moment is we have a whole array of vertical wheelie tricks that we're working on, and also the one for me at the moment I think is the leap of faith, which is the one that hopefully you'll see quite soon, which is where basically you stood up on the back seat riding, it stood up in the air and you leap from the back onto the tank while the bike's moving. I don't think it's going to come off today, but
I shall look forward to seeing you try it. Remember, don't do it on the public road because they'll lock you up and no one needs that. Stay safe and we'll see you soon.